to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad. And on this episode, we'll be exploring number 8 from Sports Illustrated's top 50 sports movies of all time.
All right, number 8 is Breaking Away, released in 1979, directed by Peter Yates, starring Dennis Christopher, Dennis Quaid, Daniel Stern, and Jackie Earle Haley.
A working-class Indiana teen obsessed with the Italian racing team vies for cycling excellence, the affections of his sorority girl crush, and trying to navigate early adulthood with his friends.
This is such a good movie.
You'd never seen it before.
I had never seen it, and it was great. Really, really good performances. Really got the concept of what it's like. It kind of had a same feel to me as what's that movie, the wrestling movie that we watched with Matthew Modine?
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest, a little bit, because the main character is trying to be, he's a cyclist, and he's trying to be as good as or better than the Italian cycling team. Mm-hmm. And
he's like obsessed with him. Like he speaks like in an English accent.
You mean Italian?
Or he speaks in an Italian accent, and like his dad
drives his dad crazy.
It drives his dad crazy. He calls him Papa and stuff like that. And he plays like opera music in the house and stuff.
Yeah, and his mom kind of likes it. Yeah, she thinks it's sweet.
She like low key likes it. Like when she's like doing like like housework, she's playing like the opera in the background. It's really great.
It's also a lot. So he's kind of a townie. Yeah. But in this case, they call them cutters because I guess the town is known for cutting granite and stuff. Yeah, granite cutters.
Yeah, they've got like a big
mill
quarry there. And,
yeah.
It's a little bit of a class warfare movie to some extent.
Yeah, it is, and so he's just this guy. They're like a year or two out of high school.
Yeah, I think they're 19.
Probably about 19. And these 4 guys hang out with each other still. They were friends in high school. And they go to the quarry that's now filled with water. And they swim and they hang out. And they're all talking about getting jobs. But they want to get jobs together.
They nail the camaraderie of, your small group of friends. Especially guys. Incredibly well. Like you buy that these guys have been friends their entire life.
Yeah.
With the way that the way that they rib each other is not mean. It's it's the way that you do it with your friends. Is there's always a little bit of a little bit of pointed truth to stuff, but it's always in jest. And it's a back and forth. It's not like everyone's like piling on one guy. It's everyone's, you're.
What I really enjoyed about this movie, yes, it's about cycling and this guy trying to strive and be the best he can be, right? But each individual guy in this movie, each individual friend has their own struggles that they're going through. So, we have the main character who's trying to be somebody and trying to figure out what he wants to be outside of high school. You also have the guy, Dennis Quaid, who's the high school quarterback who was used to, being popular and all this, and now he's not.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't know what to do.
And he doesn't know what to do. He feels lost, so he wants his friends to stay at the same level. He wants things to stay the same.
Yeah. Because
that's what he knows and what he's familiar with.
And he's afraid to be passed by because the rest of the world has passed him by. And if his friends also pass him by, he really doesn't know what he's going to do.
The Jackie Earle Haley character is basically on his own. He has no family. He's like squatting in a house.
He has family. That's his family's house.
Oh, right.
So his family has moved to Chicago because his dad got a job there because there wasn't work in the quarry anymore. And he's kind of finalizing the sale of the house, so he's kind of staying there. to, you know, make sure that the house gets sold and all that stuff. And then ultimately he's trying to figure out what he's going to do after that. Plus he's in a fairly serious relationship, and he's kind of low-key hiding it from his friends because he doesn't want to be bothered with the fact that he's probably getting pretty close to marrying this girl. And he doesn't want to hear it, especially from the Dennis Quaid character. The Daniel Stern character is kind of, you know, he's just never quite been good enough, like, at least, especially like in his parents' eyes, so he's kind of a jokester about that kind of stuff. And he's kind of, he doesn't quite know what he's gonna do either. He's not quite like the Dennis Quaid character where he understands that things are going to change. He doesn't know how to adapt to it.
It's really, really good, their dynamics. The father-son dynamic with the main character is interesting because his father, who worked as a cutter in the quarry, like, I think he felt like when he was working, it was like, that's what you did. You worked in the quarry. That's what you were supposed to do. That's what your job was. It's very tangible. But he sees his son who isn't sure what he wants to do.
But he's in addition to the cycling stuff, he's actually very smart.
Yes, very smart.
So his dad is kind of the opinion, dude, I broke my back in this quarry, so you didn't have to do that. So you can go to college, and now you're basically essentially telling me that you're going to end up in some kind of Joe job, and he's frustrated by that.
Yeah, and he's like, he doesn't quite understand what the whole cycling Italian obsession is.
Yeah.
So he gets very angry with his son about the way he's acting.
It's very much, we were talking about that in the last film with Chariots of Fire. It's kind of like how the one runner's family is towards it, but he's a little bit more hostile towards it and I mean, to be fair, he has a little bit of a point with some of it.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't take the time to really understand why his son is so dedicated to cycling, but also he's a little bit frustrated that it's like, you know, you've got to have a backup plan. Like anytime you're gonna get into any kind of, especially like fringy kinds of sports, you really have to be at the very, very top of them to make money. So
I mean, he is really good.
He is really good, but you know, there's probably 1,000 of him, 2,000 of him across the country.
Well, I think what's interesting is, you know, he spent all this time trying to, you know, be like the Italians and worshiping the Italians. He has their posters all over of the cyclists from Italy. And then he gets this opportunity to race against them in his town. And he can't believe it. And he races them, and he's holding his own. He's right there holding his own. He's with them, and he's trying to, like, befriend them. He's like, hey, bonjour, you know. And they're not having it, and they actually sabotage him.
Yeah.
And just his whole life has been putting these people up here, and then all of a sudden he realized, you know what, they're just assholes.
Oh, he's like, my dad's right, everything's rigged against us.
Yeah.
That's kind of, and he just like really gets deflated by it. The stuff with him and, you know, the college girl is kind of funny.
Oh yeah, that is funny.
Like, you know, he basically does his whole Italian spiel, and like, he's very, very, like, the real him is very, very different from, you know, the kind of fraternity prick that she's going out with, and he kind of uses that to, you know, success. Is like, he's just like this really nice guy, and, you know, he starts wooing her that way. And
what's interesting too is the last race, so they actually have like some sort of in-city competition.
It's almost like an IROC race where everyone has to use like the same bike. Like, the bike is actually provided by the race, so everyone's using the same bike, and you can have 4 members on your team, and it's a 400 lap race. And you can have you can have anyone go as many laps as you want, and then you pass it off, or theoretically you could have just one person do the whole race, which I kind of think was their plan.
Oh yeah, it was definitely.
It was just to have him race, and then he crashes on the bike and he gets hurt, and then the other guys kind of have to step up and race for him for a bit, and then eventually he gets back on the bike, but he's so hurt that they have to like tape his foot to the pedal, which essentially it's not illegal to do that, but it basically said that they're at that point he has to finish the race.
So to me, it's kind of like a metaphor for life, because the main character is already like, he's ready for it, right? He's doing it. He gets hurt. He has to stop. And the first one to jump on the bike is Jackie Earle Haley, who's also ready to start life and go around. And then the last one is Dennis Quaid, who is not ready and finally says, fuck it, I'm getting on the bike.
Yeah.
And he gets on the bike finally and realizes, I gotta start moving on with my life.
Yeah. And the other nice thing about that final scene is his dad finally sees him racing and understands, and they kind of they have a little bit of a moment there where they kind of come to an understanding with each other.
Yeah, and then like the last scene, you see his dad riding bikes around town. Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very well done movie.
It's cool. I think it's shot entirely on location in Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah, it was really good. There was definitely class struggle with the yuppies at the college and stuff, calling them cutters. That's what they called the locals, because cutting granite or whatever.
Blue collar versus white collar.
Yeah, so there was that going on.
Yeah.
Really, really well done movie. Really interesting. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. How do we rank it?
I gave it a 75. Jerry gave it an 80. So the list score was 77.5.
All right. If you've seen Breaking Away, please let us know what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate it. If you'd like to contact us directly, please do so at ratingthelist@gmail.com. But that's it for now. I'm Jerry.
I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Do you need to put